Hello everyone, my name is Karthik. This video will help you to get a quick overview on what are financial statements and how to read them. The objective of the video is to get a basic introduction and overview of financial statements. We will learn what financial statements exactly mean and what do they comprise of. And we will conclude the video with a real life example. Now let us understand what does financial statements exactly mean. Financial statements comprises of three major components, namely profit and loss account, balance sheet, and cash flow statement. A profit and loss account is a summary of revenues or sales, expenses, taxes, and net profit or loss earned by the company for a given period of time. A given period of time could mean year, quarter, month, week, or even a day. It completely depends on the company. A balance sheet is a summary of assets, liabilities, and equity for a given point of time. As the name suggests, assets is something which the company owns. For example, land, building, machinery, inventory of stocks, investments, etc. Assets could also include receivables such as any amount receivable from a third party in the future. Example, debtors or receivables from customers. While liabilities would include everything that a company owes or is liable to pay in the future to a third party. Examples commonly include bank loans, bonds issued, or any amount payable to third party vendors. While equity is the investment made by owners of the company, namely shareholders. Equity also includes profit accumulated by the company in the given past. The third component, that is cash flow statement, is basically a summary of cash receipts and cash payments for a given period of time. Similar to profit and loss account, the period could be a year, quarter, month, or any other specific period. Cash flow statement is divided into three basic parts, which is cash flow from operating activities, cash flow from investing activities, and cash flow from financing activities. We'll get into the details of cash flow statement and its three parts in the later part of the video. An important concept to understand is the timeline pertaining to these three components of financial statements. Now let's start with profit and loss account. As mentioned before, a profit and loss account is prepared for a given period of time. For example, if it is prepared for year ended December 2020, it means that the revenues earned or getting reflected in the statement pertains for 12 months between Jan 2020 and December 2020. Similarly, expenses getting reflected in the statement is the ones which are incurred in these 12 months period, and that applies to the net profit or net loss incurred by the company for this given period of time. On the other hand, as far as balance sheet is concerned, the figures that get reflected in the statement pertains to that particular point of time. For example, if a balance sheet is prepared as of 31st December 2020, the figures, that is assets, liabilities, and equity, pertains or holds true only for that particular day. While if it is prepared for the same year but as on June 2020, the figures could be significantly different. And this is the basic difference between profit and loss account and balance sheet. A profit and loss account is prepared for an entire given period of time, while balance sheet is prepared as of a particular date or a particular point of time. Now moving on to cash flow statement, the timeline would be very similar or exactly same as profit and loss account. Cash flow statement is also prepared for a given period of time. So say for instance, if the financial statements are prepared for 12-month period, year ending December 2020, the cash flow statement would be prepared for the period Jan 2020 to December 2020. Now in the next section, I would be showing you a real-life example of a financial statements issued by a listed company in India. Before moving further, I would like to urge all the viewers to not get carried away by the details shown in these sections, but to just get a feel of the statements. Of course, I would be explaining all the line items in detail in my future videos. Now this is a statement of profit and loss account issued by the company for year ended 31st March 2020. It basically means that the figures getting reflected here are pertaining to 12-month period starting from 1st April 2019 and ending on 31st March 2020. Now moving on, please observe the structure of this P&L account. It starts with revenue from operations, then summarizes the expenses of the company incurred during the year, and ends with profitability, that is profit before tax and profit after tax. The statement pertains to 2 years. One is for the year ended 31st March 2020, and a comparison is also given for 31st March 2019, and this is a standard format followed by companies worldwide. The statement starts with a summary of revenue and expenses incurred by the company during the year. It gives us a very high level breakup of revenue from sale of products, revenue from sale of services, and operating revenues. And also expenses are only divided into 4 to 5 basic major categories. The next section is on profitability. Revenue minus expenses give us EBITDA, which is a very common terminology used in the finance industry. It stands for earnings before interest, tax, depreciation and amortization. And after you deduct the interest or finance cost and depreciation and amortization, we end up with profit before tax. If the profit before tax amount is positive, we are liable to pay tax to the government. And after paying tax, we are left with profit after tax. If you actually observe, there is a separate column pertaining to notes. Against each of the major line item, a note number is mentioned. These notes start after the financial statements end, and this will give us a breakup of all the amounts mentioned on the face of the profit and loss account. For example, note number 22A will summarize a high-level breakup of revenue from sale of products and services, while note number 24A will give a breakup of cost of materials consumed. Note number 27 will give us a breakup of interest and finance costs spent by the company during the year, and so on and so forth. Now let us observe the balance sheet prepared by the same company for the given period. As you can see, the wordings used by the company is as at 31st March 2020. As explained before, a balance sheet is prepared for a given point of time rather than period, and therefore the assets and liability amount as getting reflected on the face of the balance sheet is for the date 31st March 2020. Now this is the first section of the balance sheet comprising of assets. As you can see, there are two kinds of assets, that is non-current assets and current assets. Now let me begin with non-current assets. Non-current assets are assets owned by the company which will stay with the company for a period exceeding 1 year typically. So for example, property, plant and equipment are all tangible assets which will stay with the company for at least over 1 year. Similarly, assets like goodwill or other intangible assets, investments in other subsidiaries and associates, investments in financial assets or loans given to other companies or other entities are all examples of assets which will stay with the company for a longer period of time, and therefore they are classified as non-current assets. While the second category, which is current assets, are assets owned by the company which will stay with the company for a shorter period of time, typically less than a year. Common examples include inventories, debtors or trade receivables, cash and cash equivalents, short-term loans, short-term financial assets, etc. Now, similar to profit and loss account, there are two periods mentioned in the balance sheet. One is as on 31st March 2020 and the other is exactly 1 year prior to that date, that is 31st March 2019. This is given for comparison purpose, and again this format is followed by all the companies globally. And again, even the balance sheet comprises of the notes column, wherein note numbers are given against each of important items, where the details would be given in the notes to accounts. For example, note number 9 would give the reader details of inventories owned by the company, while note number 4 will give details of the investments owned by the company, both short term and long term, or non-current or current in nature. Now let us move on to the next part of the balance sheet, that is the liabilities side. Similar to asset, liabilities could be classified into two categories, that is non-current liabilities and current liabilities. There would be two columns. One column is for the current year, that is 31st March 2020, and the other column is for the previous year for comparison purpose, exactly like profit and loss account and the asset side of the balance sheet. First is the non-current liabilities. These are the liabilities which the company owes over a longer period of time, typically for a period over 1 year starting from 31st March 2020. For example, the borrowings amount, that is 18.5 crore, is repayable by the company after 1 year from today. The second part is current liabilities. These are the liabilities which the company owes within a 1 year period of time. For instance, here the borrowings amount is nil, so there is no borrowings which is payable within 1 year from today, while lease liabilities of 142 crores is payable within 1 year from 31st March 2020. The same applies to trade payables and other line items getting reflected here. Now we'll move on to the third part of the financial statement, but the most important one, that is cash flow statement. Now in this part, I'm not showing the actual cash flow statement published by this Indian company because it is too complicated for a beginner level. However, I have tried to explain the structure of the cash flow statement in general terms so that it is easier to remember and understand. Now, cash flow statement could be classified into three parts as I had mentioned before. That is cash flow from operations, cash flow from investing activities, and cash flow from financing activities. The first one, that is cash flow from operations, includes receipts and payments directly related to the business. For instance, cash inflows from sale of inventories of services or payments given to vendors or suppliers, operating income, operating expense, and taxes. So if you actually see, all these line items are directly or indirectly related to the business of the company. If the net cash flow generated by the company is positive from operations, it means that the company is operationally profitable. While on the other hand, if the net cash flow generated in this category is negative, it will have to rely on other sources such as financing or investing activities. The second part would be cash flow from investing activities. Now the line items included in this part would be directly or indirectly related to the asset side of the balance sheet. For example, receipts Or cash inflows would be resulting from sale of assets or investments or dividend interest or rent income, while cash outflows would result from purchase of assets or investments or loan given to other parties. So all these items are either directly or indirectly related to the asset side of the balance sheet. For instance, dividend interest or rent income would be derived from investments made by the company, which would get reflected on the asset side. Now, generally speaking, if a company is able to generate positive cash inflows from investing activities, it means that it is at a mature stage. Generally, very large companies who have been in the business for a longer period of time would be able to generate positive cash flow from this category because they will have surplus amount of cash which will be deployed towards investments. While on the other hand, if a company is at expansion mode or at early stages of business, it would be in the process of acquiring more and more assets and therefore would be generating cash and therefore would be generating a cash outflow in this category. The third part of the cash flow statement would be cash flow from financing activities. Now, opposite to the investing activities, the line items getting reflected here are indirectly or directly related to the liabilities side of the balance sheet. For example, if there are cash inflows in this category, it would be typically from raising fund through equity or debt issuance, while payments would be towards interest or dividend or repayment of borrowings or share buyback. Now, generally speaking, if a company is able to generate positive inflows in this category, it means that it is actively raising funds either through equity, debt, or a combination of both. While on the other hand, if a company is generating negative cash flows from this category, it means that it is either at a mature stage or has surplus amount of cash to pay back its borrowings, to pay back its equity or interest or dividend. The user of the financial statement must read all these categories together. For example, if a company is not able to generate enough funds from its operational activities, it will have to, ideally speaking, rely on cash flow from financing activities. That is, if it has not reached a break-even point, it will have to raise fresh equity or debt to sustain its operations. While if a company who has been in the business for a longer period of time but is still cash negative, it means that it has been generating losses for a while, and that means it will have to shell out its investments to support its operations, and therefore these kind of companies would generally reflect negative cash flows through investing activities. Of course, every situation for every company will be different, and you will have to connect the dots to understand what's really going on. At the end, cash generated from all these categories are combined together and added to the opening balance. This will give the closing balance for the current year, which should match with the cash that gets reflected on the balance sheet. Now, I would like to close the video with a few key takeaways to remember. One of the important things that we must remember is that financial statements only gives a high level or a bird's eye perspective to its users. Of course, we get a perspective on the size, financial position, profitability, and cash position of the company. But a lot of detailed information is ignored in these financial statements. For example, if we were to understand market share of the company, these statements do not reflect the information. Or if we were to understand what is the profit, sales, or margins generated at product or service level, it will not be easily available. There could be many internal and external stakeholders of the company who could rely on financial statements to make decisions. For example, banks, Banks would go through the financial statements and various other materials of the company before making a lending or a no lending decision. Equity investors, private equity funds, traders, credit rating agencies, auditors, customers, vendors, government agencies, etc. are all users of financial statements, to name a few. Now, how to make sense of it for an overall perspective? As I have mentioned before, financial statements will only give us a bird's eye view of the company. But there are many other materials and resources which could be available in public platform related to the company, and most of which is actually published by the company itself. For example, investor presentation, annual report, earning transcripts are all published by companies on a regular basis. There could be various other resources such as rating agency reports or brokerage reports or media about the company, which the users can use to get an overall perspective. I hope this video was useful to you and you got to learn a few things about the financial statements. This is Karthik Shetty and thank you for your time.